Hey everybody, movie reviewer next door here, and I'm back with another review. And this time, continuing the Nightmare on Elm Street series with Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors. This is a horror fantasy film directed by Chuck Russell from 1987, and it stars Patricia Arquette, Heather Langenkamp, Craig Wasson, Robert Englund, Ken Sagos, Rodney Eastman, Jennifer Rubin, Bradley Gregg, Ira Hayden, Lawrence Fishburne, Priscilla Pointer, and John Saxon, and Penelope Sudrow. In this film, it's been many years since Freddy Krueger's first victim, Nancy, came face to face with Freddy in his sadistic, evil ways. Now Nancy's all grown up. She's put her frightening nightmares behind her and is helping teens cope with their dreams. Too bad Freddy's decided to herald his return by invading the kids' dreams and scaring them into committing suicide. So, what did I think of? Just a second while I. Okay. What did I think of A Nightmare on Elm Street 3 Dream Warriors? Well, I absolutely love it. It's one of my favorites in the series. I put it above the original. And I think if the series were to end after this one, it wouldn't have hurt. Even though there is one after this that I absolutely adore as well. But overall, this one just hits all the right things. It improves certain things from the first film. Certain things have been amplified. And it's really just an insanely impressive movie, production wise, even just there for the low budget that they had. And yeah, I've always heralded this one as more of a classic than the first, just personally. But let me get to the cast. Patricia Arquette plays Kristen Parker. She's a girl. Mother thinks she tried to hurt herself because Freddy, and she's basically in this institutional ward. I like Patricia Arquette as an actress, but I can also admit that her acting in this at times is a bit eh, as it is on Medium. Even though I really love the show Medium, I can admit that there are some times where Patricia Arquette's acting is not great. And here I'd say there's the same thing. It's about on the level of Heather's acting in the first film, but I do think I do think Patricia still plays a very likable main character. Heather Langenkamp plays Nancy Thompson. She's returning from the first film. Um, I think Heather Langenkamp has definitely improved her acting from the first film. I think she's pretty good in the third film. Um, she's still very likable. She's still a very entertaining character to go along with. Um, Craig Wasson plays Neil Gordon. He's a doctor helping these kids with their dreams. Um, I like this actor. He's fine here. He was also in Body Double. He was in Ghost Story. Um, Malcolm X. He's been in a lot of movies. Uh, but yeah, he works here. Robert Englund plays Freddy Krueger. Again, plays very well. Even though here it is getting a bit more into slightly comedic, but mixed with creepy, but it still works. He balances it out well. Robert Englund is great at performing as this character. Ken Sagos plays Kincaid. He's kind of the tough guy in the clinic. I like him. Rodney Eastman plays Joey. He's a mute who has like a teardrop tattoo, which I think means he killed somebody. So, and he's mute. So, I liked the character even though he does kind of disappear for a bit. Jennifer Rubin plays Taryn. She's fine. I think she's like a druggie, something like that. Bradley Gregg plays Philip. He works with he's an inventor. He kind of works with marionettes and stuff like that. I liked him. Ira Hayden plays Will. He's kind of a Dungeons and Dragons nerd. I liked him. Lawrence Fishburne plays Max. He's This is an early Lawrence Fishburne role. He's credited as Larry Fishburne. He doesn't do a ton in the movie, but he does a pretty good job still doing what he has to. Penelope Sudrow plays Jennifer, who's a patient that wants to be an actress, and she had problems with I think she burned herself in order to keep herself awake because of Freddy. Um I I think she was actually one of the better actors in the film. John Saxon returns as Donald Thompson. Um I really like John Saxon returning even if he's not in the whole movie. It was still nice to see him. And Priscilla Pointer as Dr. Elizabeth Sims. I liked her. But here's the thing with this movie. It If you enjoyed the first film, at least, 100% you would enjoy this film. Uh, there's a reason this film is so highly rated because it is not only an impressive movie, not only is it a sequel that builds on what people love about the first film, it introduces certain new things that feel natural. Now, in reference to my last review, which was the second movie, um, excuse me. I didn't feel like that didn't feel like an actual sequel to me. It felt like a random spec script with some elements of the first film thrown in. It didn't really continue the story in any way. Freddy didn't act the same as he did in the first. It was instead like it was like instead of him haunting your dreams, he like infects you and then you try to kill people, which just didn't work for me, especially given that it was a Nightmare on Elm Street movie, and that's not how Freddy operates in any of the other movies. This film, though, the whole thing about the Dream Warriors and them like having powers in their dreams and being able to take on Freddy to a certain extent, um, sorry, but like that whole thing, it was and them being in their dreams, taking over and trying to take back their dreams from Freddy. I thought that was a really interesting thing to bring up and to add to the series rather than basically just be like, okay, Nightmare on Elm Street coat of paint on some other movie. And while I think the lead here, it's kind of hard to say who the lead is because Heather Langenkamp is first billed, and I would say that she's the one that has the most screen time. But also you start out with Patricia Arquette's character, even though there are entire swaths there's like an entire good 10 minutes or something of the movie where you don't see Patricia Arquette at all. So it's kind of hard to say who the main character is, but like Mark Patton in the last film, I still stand by what I said. He was really good, but like it still there's I think Heather Langenkamp again improved on her acting from the first film quite a bit. Um, and Patricia Arquette, excuse me, while she does still stumble, I still think she's a likable character, just like Nancy was in the first film. I Her acting didn't like annoy me. It's just again a clear case of early acting. Patricia Arquette, I'm pretty sure, was 18 when she filmed it. So, yes, very early in her acting career. Probably her first thing. And, but still, like, the film doesn't have any, like, standout terrible actors that I can even bring up. None of the inmates are horrible at acting. There's some, like, wonky line readings, but that can happen. Um, But one thing I 100% have to give credit for is some of the set pieces in this film are very impressive. Um, uh, Sorry. Uh, I keep getting distracted. The set design and how it is used in certain dream sequences it's very impressive. There's a dream sequence where Kristen, Patricia Arquette's character, is like in a room because she dreamed about the house again, the Elm Street house, which is now like vines and shit in it. There's all this stuff around it. Um, and she there's like these cracks in the walls that start forming around her and the camera's like moving dynamically with them, and it's very impressive camera work, very impressive set design, very impressive just stunts happening. The giant Freddy worm thing looked really gross. And some people would say that these things are like goofy, but to me, I think they're just like so weird that it actually does creep me out. There's the frickin' like the set where it's like the pits of hell, basically, like Freddy's own personal boiler room. Looks really cool. There's a lot of really cool stuff done with the set design here, and I think this is what the second film should have tried to be, more of a direct continuation of the first film, upping the stakes in the way of instead of just dealing with Nancy, now there's another girl and these other kids that were part of that were on Elm Street, and all of their parents have brought them to this mental ward. So basically, Freddy has free reign to do anything he wants because it'll just get blamed on suicide. Which, to be honest, it's a lot more clever than a lot of movies that try to do that thing where it's like a psychological thriller in the way of you don't know what's real. Instead, we know it's real, but the characters don't. And I think that's a bit more interesting than the other psychological thriller thing of being like we can't trust the main character because they're seeing things and even the audience doesn't know if it's real. I don't like that usually. It can be done well. Jacob's Ladder did it well, but usually it's not done that well. But here also the kills are very, again, they one up the first film in the way where they don't get too wacky, but they use certain things that the characters see as weaknesses, which is interesting. I and again, I'm gonna be talking spoilers. The the actress girl basically getting pulled up by Freddy's arms out of the TV and head in the TV, and then welcome to prime time, bitch, getting her head pushed in there. The fucking puppeteer guy basically getting his veins like pulled out of his arms and legs and being like moved like he's a marionette, and then Freddy cuts them off and he falls to his death. Um, Jennifer Rubin's character getting needles stuck into her arms like Freddy's glove, but instead it's needles. Like th that right there. The wizard uh having to deal with like in a wheelchair that has a bunch of spikes in it because he can walk. That's his power, and he can do magic. Like this film is so imaginative in that way, and I love it. It's so much fun. Um, and I just love when films like that have that creativity that you can tell they weren't just trying to make another slasher movie. Because at that time, the slasher craze had very much died down by 87. And they were like, okay, how do we continue this series? Because it is still technically a slasher series. Um, and they just keep making it more and more imaginative. Um, Also, the score by Angelo Badalamenti. Um, very, very well done. Like, fantastic score by Angelo Badalamenti. Very memorable songs in this. Um, or very memorable music. It fits the tone. It fits the setting. And again, Angelo Badalamenti is known for Twin Peaks. He did the theme for Twin Peaks. Very talented composer. Um, could probably I can't think of the other things he's done at the moment. I'm not good with composers. Oh, apparently some of the makeup was done by Screaming Mad George. 100% the marionette thing was done by him. Yeah, Angelo Badalamenti's done like a ton of um David Lynch's films. He did uh The Beach, Secretary, Cabin Fever, City of Lost Children. Yeah, very talented. This is also directed by Chuck Russell, who directed The Mask, The Scorpion King, The Blob, Eraser with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Um, he also did I Am Wrath, which I have seen. That was okay, I guess. The John Travolta one. He did another John Travolta Bruce Willis movie. But Chuck Russell does a great job fucking directing this. Again, very nice camera shots, nice movements, nice cinematography, very nice cinematography. And again, the issue I had with the second film was that it felt like it was going on forever, and this one speeds up the pace tremendously, and I never felt bored. And I love the I think the climax of this film is a lot more intense than in the first film. Because the first film's climax kind of just, it's like, eh, for me. By the end, like there's some fun stuff in it, but here I think they really spice it up in a good way, using the dream powers and everything. Um, if I have to say things that I wasn't big on about this movie, I'd say some of the dream powers. I'd say specifically, um, who are they? Specifically, Taryn and Will, Ira Hayden and Jennifer Rubin and Ira Hayden's characters specifically don't get to do much with their powers, and I kind of wish there was more of a fight between them and Freddy, and it kind of felt like we were just supposed to like knock them off because they couldn't be used in the ending. And their deaths aren't even that. Those are the two deaths where I'm like, okay, you can take it or leave it. They're kind of whatever. Especially Ira Hayden's death. He just gets like stabbed in the chest with Freddy's glove, and then it's just like whatever. Like it kind of felt like they had too many characters to deal with, and I I still enjoyed the character. I just wish there was a bit more of a fight to it. I wish there was a more creative death. Maybe throw him into the wheelchair with all the spikes in it. I think that would could have made for a very cool the budget thing. I don't know, but and again, Patricia Arquette's acting at times, again, not amazing. But overall, I still love this film. I still love this in the series. It's very much up there. It's not my favorite in the series, but it is very close. And yeah, I can't wait to get to the rest of these movies again. But yeah, that was my review of Nightmare on Elm Street Part 3, Dream Warriors. If you've seen the film, let me know what your thoughts are in the comments down below. If you have any recommendations, put them down there as well. And Movie Reviewer Next Door, out.